So growing up, I always wanted to belong. It may be a shocker to some of you because I was like, if you've known me for quite some time, I kind of have like that I don't give a shit attitude. I don't care what anybody says. I'm kind of rebellious, blah, 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 blah. But I do have a deep underlying desire to be wanted and accepted. And I feel like that's even weird for me to say. And it's mostly by those, like the feminine energy, right? So I have very masculine energy. I'm very like, go, 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 let's get shit done. That's just kind of how I've always operated. So the leaning into like the love and acceptance and self-love and all of this mumbo jumbo, it's not mumbo jumbo. The word love kind of makes me want to throw up, but that's okay. We're all about leaning into discomfort. I'm learning to love myself more. I'm learning to love others and just be more accepting, because my go-to is anger and telling people just to go fuck themselves. I know that's not appropriate, but that is my go-to. Like if somebody tells me what they are thinking, I'm like, well, you can go fuck yourself. It's funny now. It's maybe not so funny because it actually is a lot of underlying issues with like wanting to be loved and accepted. And so it's very interesting. The other day it's the same day that I posted this on social media. You guys are listening to it a couple days later, or whenever you're listening to this. Immediately after I went on a 2-second rant, because I saw some things that I'm like, well, that's great, but I have a difference of opinion, so I feel like I need to share. I'm trying to get in the habit of just sharing what I'm thinking without worrying about offending others, because that's a thing now. After I had kids, I'm like, oh, what if I offend somebody? I'm like, well, what if you do? I don't know. It's weird. So I'm just trying to lay it all out there and be vulnerable and just be like, hey, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'll get it right. Sometimes I won't get it right. But we all have different experiences. So some people will resonate with my experience, while others may be triggered, or others may tell me to fuck off. Who knows? So anyways, I posted something talking about basically the law of attraction. I'm really big into law of attraction and manifestation and how your thoughts become things. And I feel like my life obviously is a direct manifestation of the thoughts that I've had. My reality, I have created my reality with my thoughts, whether I have chose those thoughts or unconsciously thought those thoughts. Either way, my reality is based on what my thoughts were. And so when I was younger, bad things happened to me because I had bad feeling thoughts. And the reason I want to bring this up is because one gal in particular, and if she's listening to this, you'll know who you are. Actually, I had a lot of people comment on my video. Half of you were like, yes, I love this. I needed this. You put some pep in my step. I'm so excited to see you back. And the other people were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't just always talk about positivity. You can't just always talk about the law of attraction. You have to focus on the darkness. You have to focus on the negative things. You have to focus on the shadow side. And so here's what I got to say to that. And again, this is my personal experience. My experience is valid. I don't need permission from anybody to share what my personal experience is. So listen up. I have lived in the shadows for a very long time. Darkness is comfortable to me. Death, grief, sadness, depression, all of those things feel like home. All of those things come very easily to me. While some people want to numb out and pretend like they don't exist, that was my comfort zone. Beating myself up, self-hatred, and just thinking of deep, dark thoughts. And not even saying that the shadow side has to be it's not bad. There cannot be light without the dark. Let's just clear that up, okay? but there's a balance, a quote unquote balance there, right? So in order to experience joy, you have to know what the opposite feels like in order to experience it, right? And so for me, I deprived myself of joy. Anytime that I felt happy or healthy or love or excitement, I would tell myself that I was a piece of shit and I did not deserve it, right? It was just a fluke. Okay. I became so comfortable with that like dark side of me that I did not allow myself to experience the other side. So I had no balance. I was too scared to experience the light and the love because I never had that, right? I was always I always put myself in really bad situations, whether that was physically, mentally, emotionally. I always did. I abused drugs and alcohol, and I fucking smoked, and I just did really terrible things to myself. And all of that stuff became very like, okay, so there's a song, and it's like, hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. That is me. The darkness is my friend. And it is so easy for me just to slip back into that darkness and like hide out there and be angry and sad and depressed and look at all of the other angry, sad, depressing things. And so for me and the law of attraction, I noticed that when I started to choose better feeling thoughts, as uncomfortable as they could or that they would be, they started to manifest. When I started to shift my focus on things that brought me joy or things that I wanted or desired in my life, I found that more things that I wanted and desired would come to me. It's like as soon as I shifted my energy to that of what I wanted instead of what I didn't want, things started to happen for me. So this may resonate again with some, this may not with others. There are some people who just try to experience positivity, like, I'm just going to be so happy, I'm going to pretend that nothing bad happens in the world. That's not what I'm saying. I realize that there's bad shit happening all over. I'm just telling you that in my personal life, if I focus on the bad things, more bad things happen to me. And I'm telling you, I can't experience any more bad things because I will probably die or end up in jail. And that's not going to be me. And so I have to consciously make an effort to focus on the good. I have to wake up every day and write a gratitude list. Just makes me want to cry even thinking about it. Like, I have to do these things because my brain is wired to hate myself. And so something that I have constantly been practicing is self-love. And this is a practice. I don't know if I'll ever reach like this, quote unquote, like, oh, this beautiful self-love. You just wake up and you just love yourself. And, there's times where I do experience that, but it's definitely not 100% of the time. Like, it's a conscious effort. I have to exercise. I have to attempt to eat healthy. I have to meditate and do gratitude journals and all of these things to shift my energy into that higher vibrating energy, because literally everything we do every day is either spiraling up or spiraling down. So like if you look at like the law of attraction, or if you look at like the emotional guidance scale or whatever, everybody emits like a vibration of what they are experiencing. And so you can go up from there or you can go down from there based on your experience, your immediate experience. And so for me, I have to set myself up for success very early in the morning. And there's sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, wow, today's gonna be fucking shitty. Like, I just wake up and I'm in a shit mood. And sometimes I just allow myself to feel that shit mood, because then it makes me appreciate the good days that much more. Again, like I try not to get stuck there. I try just to feel it and experience it and let it move through me. I don't try to let any one emotion be stuck within me, because then that's when you start to feel stress and overwhelm and anxiety and all these things, because you can't move through it, right? It becomes stuck, and that energy body can block your chakras and cause everything to kind of be like off balance and out of whack. So for me to remain an aligned, balanced person, I have to practice more of the manifestation and positivity practices more than maybe the shadow work and the darkness stuff, because that is where I'm learning and growing. I'm learning to love myself. I'm learning to enjoy myself. I'm learning to have fun. I'm learning to not be a people pleaser. I'm learning to not base my worth on other people's expectations of myself. This is something that I'm constantly learning, and I'm constantly trying to figure out. And it's not easy, you guys. It is not easy. And in no way, shape, or form am I perfect. And it's so funny because it's easy for me to point out what's wrong in somebody else's life. I mean, hell, that's why people hire me as a coach, because I do have a lot of experience and I am able to very easily point out what is working and what is not working just based on your energy, what you say, what you do, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, what your goals are, where you're at in your life. All of these things make it very easy for me to say like, okay, well, I see what the problem is. Like, let me tell you how we can start to shift our focus so that we can get you feeling better, so that we can get you in alignment. Okay. And I never want you to think that I'm just going to like positivity powerhouse our way through things, because that's not reality. Like, you can't be happy 24/7 because happiness would become boring, right? You would just be like, okay, well, fuck, this is cool. I'm just happy all the time. Like, I don't even know what happiness is anymore because I just experience it 24/7. So you have to experience that sadness and that grief and sometimes those disappointing actions in order to experience and appreciate the good things in life. Again, like, there can be no light without the dark. And so for me personally, I have to practice more of the lightheartedness, the laughter, the joy, just the hugging and the kissing and the physical touch. Like, when I first met my husband, and this might be a little bit too much information, I don't really give a shit, whatever. We're all about vulnerability, right? Like, I think it's pretty cool everybody's out there just sharing their thoughts and opinions, but I don't think it's cool that anybody would make somebody feel less than for thinking a certain way. So anyways, like, when I first got with my husband, like, I am not a touchy-feely person, and so his whole family used to give me shit because I'm not a hugger, I'm not a kisser. Like, I can hug and kiss him, I can hug and kiss my other kids, but like, I get super weirded out when other people want to like hug and kiss me. I'm like, oh God, don't. It feels like you're stabbing me. It's so uncomfortable. And so I try to practice more of those things to push myself outside of my comfort zone. And this may sound really silly to some, but like, hugs, like, that is a big deal for me. That is a big deal for me. Like, I used to, even the thought of it just makes me want to squirm, but I've gotten better. Practice makes progress. So I just want you to know that listening to this, there is more than one way to do things. And this is where you have to shut off the outside noise, tune into yourself and say, what do I need? What do I need? And sometimes it's nice to have like friends, or somebody you confide in, or maybe a coach, or, maybe you consult whoever your spiritual higher power is, whether it's God, Jesus, or, oracle cards, or maybe you attend a reading, whatever it looks like for you. Maybe you ask for help. That was another thing. I actually did a card pull on myself this morning, and that's what it said. It said, ask for more help, Sasha. And then the other thing it said is, you know what to do. And I tell you what, I've pulled that you know what to do card probably 12 fucking times in the last 2 months. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm sure I do, but like, sometimes it's your vision is just like so cloudy that you have to keep quieting your mind and go get those downloads from the divine. It happens. It doesn't happen overnight. And so I know somewhere within me, I know what my next step is. I just can't consciously figure it out right now. So it's very frustrating. And I'm sure you guys have felt that in your life where you just feel like you're beating your head against a door when you're like, just give me the answer. And the answer is within you. You just have to shut up long enough to listen, to hear it. And so that's kind of where I'm at in my life. But just know that whatever your goals, hopes, dreams, desires, or wherever you're at in your life right now, just know that you are exactly where you need to be. Do not compare your journey to somebody else's. Take what works for you and leave the rest. Maybe you use the rest as learning, but learn to let go. So don't hold on to anything that doesn't serve you, but do take them as lessons to learn and improve and grow. So if somebody says something to you that, you know, like today, I had a couple people, again, they reached out and they said some things about my video, and I was like, "Ugh, it felt like a stab in the chest." And so the first lesson is, I can't please everybody. I am not everybody's cup of tea. That is still a hard pill for me to swallow, because I am a recovering people pleaser. Even though I tell people to fuck off a lot, I am a recovering people pleaser. I want everybody to feel happy. I want to make everybody happy. And I know that that's not my job. And I know that I can't make that happen. All I can do is control myself. And so if I can make myself happy and influence others to focus on their happiness, and in turn, maybe everybody can be happy, right? So I just have to focus on myself a little bit more, which may sound selfish, to say, but it's true, right? So when I focus on me and I make my happiness my priority, it ultimately gives you permission to do the same. You can let go of the things that don't serve you, forgive those who may have hurt you at some point in time, which is actually a whole nother topic. But by forgiving yourself, forgiving them, you're giving yourself power back. It's an empowering practice, and the other person doesn't even have to know anything about it. Okay. So just throwing that out there. Anybody who has harmed you or did you wrong, try forgiving them. It's really fucking hard, but I'm telling you, it's very freeing and empowering when it's all said and done. Again, like, that's kind of like that deeper, darker side. Like, you can't just like, oh, everything's fine. Not everything's fine. Nothing will be fine. There will constantly be contrast in life. That's what makes it life, right? Everything that lives will eventually die, and then will be reborn, and the cycle just repeats itself. Same with like emotions. Like, you'll be sad one day, you'll be happy the next day, and it just ebb and flows throughout life. That's the beauty of being human. We're able to experience these different emotions, different, just everything. It's so beautiful. Like, when you think about it on a grander scale and get so out of like our own ego and our own head, like, life is beautiful. Death is beautiful. Being reborn is beautiful. The seasons are beautiful. The contrast of life is beautiful. It brings us closer together. It lets us know that we still have work to do. But when I focus on the things that I desire and what I want, I find that those manifest much, much quicker in my life than if I focus on the things that I don't want. So that's all I wanted to say about today. And my 2 cents for you is just find what works for you and leave the rest. If somebody tells you to go run 10 miles and you're like, 2 miles feels right, you know, maybe push yourself to 3 and then just be like, yeah, that was good. I'm happy with that. You did good. So, hope you guys got something out of this. Just know that you have all of the answers within you. Sometimes it does help to ask for help to find those answers within you. Sometimes we just need guidance on how to shut off that monkey mind and shut off the noise and figure out what really works well for you. And your gut always knows. Trust your guide, trust your intuition, trust your body's response, that gut reaction. That's usually the right one. So, all right, guys, have a kick-ass day. We'll catch you next week.